G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. Bugger me, you couldn't get a more mixed bag if you tried, eh? Sort of like my old mother-in-law used to be. But anyway, over the last week, or since I spoke to you last, off the Queensland coast we've had Cyclone Omar. And a cyclone's, look, it's a really bad storm, couple 100km/h winds, the really bad ones, and other parts of the world they'll be called hurricanes and things like that, but they're a tropical storm that comes in. Look, we usually get a few every year on the Queensland coast, and some of them have just wiped out towns and crops and all that sort of thing. So over the last week we've had Cyclone Omar come alongside, and it come down, and it looked like it was going to cross at Bundaberg or maybe anywhere down towards Brisbane, Bundaberg, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, in that area somewhere. But the maps and all the models and that were saying that good chance cross at Bundaberg this last weekend. So we were sort of battening down the hatches a little bit, and as I spoke of last week, we were going away to the niece's engagement party. So we were going to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday away, and I'll come home Sunday. But then I did all the work on the collie and got that all ready to go, and yeah, they started putting these cyclone warnings out, and they made it into the Australian waters, and we have strong wind warnings here and things like that, and they're saying it's going to cross the coast over the weekend. So we thought, oh shit, do we go away, don't we go away? Last time we went away and there was a cyclone buggering around, that's when our shop got flooded, so we're sort of a bit skittish with that. So we had Thursday and Friday off work because we thought we were travelling, but Thursday morning we decided, oh look, we'll just hang around and we'll wait for another couple of cyclone warnings and just see which way it's going to go. So Thursday we stayed at home here, and I got a little bit of filming done on the 135, and then we didn't go to work. Jude says, oh, perhaps we should go to work. I was bugger work. You know, we're going to need a break now and then. So I said, let's just have a couple of days off and enjoy it, even if we don't go away. So yeah, look, we looked at the weather reports and we were humming and hawing. So we stayed home Thursday. Instead of driving out Thursday morning, we thought, well, we'll wait until Friday morning and make our mind up then whether we go or not. Then it was starting to lose intensity a little bit, and we thought, oh, you know, do you, don't you? And so Friday we decided to stay put as well. And what we ended up doing was, instead of taking the collie and the caravan up, Saturday morning it looked like Cyclone Omar was going to be a fizzer, an Anthony Mundine of bloody cyclones. And so yeah, Saturday morning we drove out and drove 3 hours or so up to Rockhampton. And we got there late morning, and yeah, we thought, oh well, you know, you can go to the motel and have a bit of a rest and all that and get ready for the big night, or you know, we're only like 40-50 k's away from Yeppoon and Emu Park and Great Keppel Island, you know, where we used to work, so let's blow up there for a look. So off we did. We went up there, and there's a loop you can do between Yeppoon and Emu Park, and a big circuit sort of thing you can go around. So we did that and stopped and had a look at a few things and yarned a few locals and things like that. So look, we're glad we went. It was a good drive, and we went to Gracemere Hotel for the party, and bloody cracker party. Kendall and Nathan got engaged, and the cousins Ray and Dave, they're Judy's sister's kids, and so they're our nephews, and yeah, they kicked their heels up and had a fat time, and I did too. And no show without punch, eh? I was into it, and oh look, it was a great fun. I don't know how many Coronas I drank, but holy Jesus, it was a lot. And I spent about $150 at $8 a hit. So I had a bloody ball, and we were bullshitting around, and yeah, by the time the party started, we'd already had 3 or 4 into us, and then the more the company grew, the fun of the time became, and away we went. So yeah, yesterday morning, woke up in the motel, and I thought, oh, I better just open one eye, see what that's like. But look, it was good. Yeah, I got this thing. If you're having a big night on the bloody slops, um, when you wake up, oh, actually, a thing that I always do is before I go to bed, I often have and that's whether I've been drinking or not, to make sure you have vitamins and that, I have a Barocca and Aspro soluble in it, and helps thin the blood and all that sort of thing. And the doctor reckons, oh, I don't know if it does any good, but won't do any harm. If you're happy doing it, do it. So I've done that. I just do that every day. And so one of the good things when you've had a big time is, yeah, come home, and what I do when I'm away, I just take one of those little 600 milliliter, or supposed to be a pint, you know, the bottled water you buy anyway. And so I just chuck my Barocca and Aspro in there, and might have a cuppa before I go to bed. If there's a cuppa floating around at the venue or something like that, I'll have a coffee. And yeah, then when I get home, I'll have half of that bottle. And if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're a bit so, well, I've got the rest of that near the bed and I down that. So I wake up all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and have a tomato juice. I always have a tomato juice. I have a tomato juice every day. I just like it. With me brekkie, I have just berry tomato juice. And so yeah, I have my tomato juice and a coffee, and yeah, off we went for the day. And got back to got back to Mount Larkham, and we went back to the caravan park to see the rallies before we went out of town. And we found a markets in Rockhampton yesterday morning, so we went there, and I bought some marinated feta with chilli and garlic. Oh, who'd bloody give a jellyfish a horn? It's pretty good gear. And there goes the diet. Well, the diet just went to shit all weekend anyway, so it doesn't matter. And we're here to have a good time. And so look, we did have a great weekend. Instead of going away for 4 days and staying in the caravan park with the rallies, because they stayed there, but there was another 2 couples, nephew Dave and then Cameron and that were coming. They were bringing caravans too, but because we all had to come out of a cyclone area up there, and then we thought, oh, well, you know, if the cyclone's there Sunday Ave and you're driving home, you ain't got to get home in a hurry, and you got this caravan bloody bag in the arse of your car around. Well, that wouldn't be nice. So we were going to have like 6 or 8 caravans in a group at the caravan park and get up to mischief. We didn't do that, but Ray and old Neil, another uncle, or Ray's uncle, they got together the other night and drank a carton of VB, and they were a bit shabby. Bloody sooks. No, that's what I get for drinking VB, and it's no good for you, that stuff. And VB, they reckon, it's supposed to stand for Victorian Bitter, but we all reckon it stands for vomit bombs. Makes you a crook. But anyway, look, we had a great weekend away, and on the Thursday and the Friday, on the Thursday I thought, well, I'll try and get a little bit of filming done on bloody Goldie. I've got Goldie there behind me, we're getting ready for the tractor trek. On the 135 6-speed, I had a chance to do a little bit on that. Turns out the bearing I've got myself for this main input shaft is the wrong size, so I don't know where I've stuffed that up, unless it's listed wrong or something like that, because usually I just print the sheet and just tick the bearings off and away we go. So I've balls that up, so that's no big deal. I'd have had the bearings for the PDO drive, and I'll be putting a new seal in there shortly, and so I probably won't be able to get that front input section finished this weekend. But look, I will soldier on a little bit with the gearbox. I'll get a bit done anyway. I don't know how much, and I might get the planetary on the back, and I've really only got to put the planetary on the back and sort the front end out in the bell housing. I have a couple of bushes to do on on the throw out and brake shafts. Look, we'll just see what we get filmed. Yeah, look, we don't know how we're going to go with that. The John Deere, the 1640 John Deere, I have got a bit of video done on the PDO clutch pack and a few things like that. I've got the tractor, where I've got the tractor sitting in there, I had Goldie next to it, and I've had to shift Goldie out. So when I want to come in with the crane to lift the section and that, I can. So I've shifted Goldie to the front door, and that's fine. I'll get it ready for not this coming weekend, the weekend after, for our tractor trek. Another job I need to do is, I don't know how it's going to work, but on the roll frame that goes across to look after the canopy, I'm going to put a bracket there, and I actually bought another gimbal, you know, the ball mount for the camera, and I'm going to actually mount a camera, this camera, I'm going to have that so I can mount it onto the roll frame. Now, by mounting it onto the roll frame, I'm hoping I lose that vibration, and if I mount it solid, and I can put it on shake proof or something, some setting it's got, I'm hoping the footage isn't just all jarry. If you remember when I did a run on my John Deere 420, if I handheld the camera, it was good, but if I sat it down on a magnetic base or anything like that, well, I think it was a combination of the base being a bit flimsy and the two cylinders don't run even anyway, so it's a tractor with more vibrations than Goldie. So we're looking at doing the making just a clamp on. It'll be a couple of bits of steel and a couple of bolts, and I'll clamp it on the right hand side. And the right hand side, because the viewer on the camera, it comes out to the left, so I can have the camera here with the viewfinder here and drive along and actually see what's going on, apparently. We'll see. Look, whether that works or not, I might try and get a little bit of that done today or this week or that sometime. And but yeah, it's something I'd like to do, a really, really rigid camera mount. So it'll probably be a piece of angle iron with two bits of thick steel, and there'll be no flex in the bracket anyway, unless there's some vibration in that roll frame because it's a big hoop. But we'll see. Those who have experience in this might know better. Malk of Lincoln is a fellow I follow. I'm having trouble with bloody, look, I've got a couple hundred subscriptions of things I look at, so I can just jump on the TV and hit subscriptions and what it comes up. So I watch a lot of stuff. On the telly I can't actually, apart from one letter at a time, A, now click, N, click, D, space bar. I don't comment while I'm on TV, but if I get time on the laptop, I do. That's when I write comments on people's pages. But yeah, Malcolm, I haven't watched a lot of his stuff of late. I've got a few hundred subscriptions, and by the time I feed through them all and try and sit and watch a couple every night, well, I'm getting behind a little bit, because I do need time. I spend other time editing and buggering around, so my time in front of the screens is very small. And when I take a break in the shed here, I'll just check that my sound's going all right here. Yep, it's still on. I do when I take a break in the shed, I do look at the phone and watch a few videos there as well. So I try and keep up, but oh buddy, I reckon I'm behind a bit. Harold, I like watching Harold and his antics, and Emma, and a few bits and pieces. So anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, with the John Deere, I do have some parts. I've got the parts from Vanderfield's, and the parts I had in stock. So I have put the PDO clutch pack together and filmed it and explained how it works. I've pulled the PDO brake apart. It's a pressure fed piston that when you disengage your PDO, the brake comes on to stop it turning, and the linings have come off that. No, it's not just sitting here handy. So the linings have come off that, so we're going to get a new one of those before we can put that section together. And today on the bench here, I might try and get a little bit of bench work done. And I've set the bench up now with the microphone over the boom. Yeah, it's not in the picture, that's good. Like when you're blind and you've got to look at this little screen a metre or more away, it gets a bit difficult. But so yeah, I've got the bench set up here now for filming, and look, it's pretty good for filming. It's I do battle with the light a bit. You've always got a shadow, or when you bring the camera in with the arm on it so you can look straight down. Well, I do have trouble with shadows because the light is just off centre from the bench a bit. The light's sort of straight up here, and the bench is over here. So I do have a little bit of a shadow worry. Ideally, this bench would be across here further, but you just haven't got the room. If I do that, I can never get a crane in or anything like that, or the gearbox stand won't fit in. So anyway, we'll work away with that. The other week I actually machined up a number 2 Morse taper in the lathe, and I was telling you that I actually set the number 2 Morse taper up in a parallel adapter, and I clamped it in the forge jaw, and I didn't indicate off the adapter. I actually indicated off the number 2 Morse taper piece, and I got that perfect. Yet when I turned it and I sat it in the rotary table, and all I was looking for was just a quick reference I can drop in. After watching Joe Paszynski on his rotary table things and that, I've been having a fiddle. And but anyway, I was 1 thou. I must have had half a thou run out, I think it was. And I just can't work out how I got that. But anyway, it's I've redone bits of it, and I'm just not sure. So anyway, on eBay, here's a number 2 Morse taper with a soft end on it, and I reckon because it's got a centre here, I reckon they would have had a centre up here, and I reckon it would have been ground between centres because it's a ground finish. So I'm going to sit this in and see if this is perfect. That was just something interesting. I bought 4 or 5 of them out of Chronos in England for $30 Aussie, something like that. So they're cheap shit. That's all I wanted to do with them. I thought, oh well, I'll just do that, and pardon me, that'll check. I have checked in the taper of the number 2 Morse taper in the rotary table, and look, it's fine. Yeah, it runs right on 0. So anyway, yeah, we'll just see what happens with that. I also got the shocky rubbers for the collie. I probably should give you a proper look at those, shouldn't I? I had to wait a few days for them to come in. So, and they're nylethane again. And yeah, so they got to be pressed into the bottom of the shocky. But yeah, they've been pressed in, and they don't have a lube on them or anything. They just get pressed in, but they were cracking up as well. So yeah, I don't know. Max Grant, if you look at Max Grant's, he has a YouTube page, but he was saying that yeah, some of the Toyotas just have standard old rubber and they last for years and years and years, and he's right. But when you put a suspension kit in, they change all to this nylethane, and might be a way of keeping revenue coming in, eh, the bastard. But anyway, so one day, the urgency's gone. I might do it before we go on our tractor run, or I might not. And I'll press these in, and that'll give us a run. $40 for these 4 nylethane bushes. So, but anyway, that's okay. We'll get that done. I've got another little story to tell you, and it's a bit of a sad tale, and it's about my nephew Phil. And a couple of years ago, you'll probably remember, I was best man at Phil's wedding, and Phil's marriage blew up years ago, and he come down to live at Jude and myself's place here. He's a nephew, and he come to live with us for quite some time. Every day off at the mines, he'd come and live with us, and yeah, I had to teach him to drink beer and everything, you know. He'd come down and we'd sit out the back drinking beer and having a yarn, and he just needed that ear. So anyway, as life went on for old Phil, he spotted another woman. We used to joke about going and find Helga with the big bazookas. Come on, Phil, we'll go and see if we can find Helga. because a lot of backpackers around here, and we call them all Helga. So, and so anyway, I used to joke about finding Helga, but anyway, he got his eye on this Sheila he'd been working with up at Serena. So yeah, well, look, it was no good to man nor beast once he got his eyes on her. We were doing up an 80 series cruiser in the shed here, and well, I had to finish it all pretty well. He was off tomcatting, and yeah, so he spotted this Sheila, and that was just duck's nuts to him. So he was off, and yeah, it's up to you, Uncle Lance. I'm busy. So off he went, and got hooked up with this other lady, Belle, and look, they're a beautiful person, and yeah, look, a couple of years ago they got married, and they've had a little one, and yeah, Belle had a little one called Jip already, and anyway, so they hit it up and got married and all that sort of thing, and had a little one, and that's the same young nephew that had that motorbike accident, and we thought we were going to lose him after his motorbike accident, and he had to go down to Brisbane, and look, he spent months and months and months with crook with a brain injury, and he come back home, no alcohol, no nothing for 2 years, and he did that, and at his wedding he was still sort of struggling a little bit, and which is what, 2.5 years ago now or something like that, and anyway, he'd something recently had changed in Phil, and when I was speaking to him, he wasn't the same Phil, and he was on a heap of he'd go to the doctor, and he'd get these antidepressants and things like that he needed, and he reckoned he felt better with them, and that's fine, and a lot of people are on that stuff, and that's how it works, but it just changed, and he was drinking a bit more, and he wasn't the same Phil. He was getting aggro, and Phil had a bit of a temperament like myself. He just about hit us on the head with a hammer to get us cranky, but I don't know how Phil went when he was cranky, but if you get me cranky, by Christ, you're in trouble. But it takes a lot of getting me cranky. I don't fire up very much at all, but yeah, if something sparks, well, that's it, and so anyway, he changed, so I'd been talking to him about it, and I suspected he was on drugs, on ice, on methamphetamine, or we call it ice anyway, and because he had it once before that I'd known of, and we used to talk about a lot of stuff, Phil and I, and when he first tried it, he actually told me, he told us about it, so I was, oh fuck it, and that shit just, that wrecks things, and anyway, and he and recently in the last 6 months or so, he wanted to puff on a bong and a few joints and that, and he was on wacky tobacco, and yeah, and his missus was cranky, holy, bloody drugs, and they were calling him Puff Daddy, and but anyway, look, he changed, and I was talking to him a week or more ago, and he just changed, and him and the missus had separated. She couldn't put up with his attitude, and he was getting angry with everyone and just cranky, and people that are the main people in his life he was cranky with, and fly off the handle, and it just wasn't him. And so another bloke that was best man, Kieran, unbeknown to me, Kieran had noticed it as well, so both of us had hit him up, and I said, Phil, you're not on this bloody ice, are you? No, Uncle, no, that stuff's shit. And I said, well, you're having these joints, and you're drinking way too much, and your marriage is looking crook. What's going on? Oh, he says, I've just stuffed things up, and anyway, one thing led to another, and a week or so ago, I rang him up just to do a check, and where he works at the mines, they actually give you an extra, if your marriage is playing up, he lives in a mine house, but they give you a unit, so you can settle things out. One of you can move out. So he was in a unit, and then his mate Wal, who was also a best man, he checked on him every day, see how he was going, because everyone knew he changed. And but we couldn't talk to him about it. oh, we would talk to him about it, but it turns out he was feeding us all shit. And last Thursday morning, and his missus, Belle, like, even though he was living out of the house, she would make sure she cooked him a week's worth of meals, and then he'd come and look after the kids and all that. So last Thursday, yeah, they had brekkie. He come round to say, see her and see the kids and that, and no trouble, no argument, no, everyone was fine. Had a beautiful meal, nice cooked meal, a coffee, and Belle went and done other things, had a shower, I think she might have said, and he promptly hopped up, walked downstairs and shot himself. So, yeah, just amazing. It blew us all away. So, yeah, we're all a bit sad about that, so we'll have to go and pay respects soon. So, yeah, just how it goes. Yeah, well, with a young nephew, Phil, yeah, wandered down and shot himself, and poor old Belle, she had the coppers there, and oh, the rigmarole he's put that family through. A selfish thing, I don't know why he couldn't talk to us. He told us all sorts of other things. But when we get together, when the family gets together and has a bit of a chat, we know, you look back and he went and visited a few people and did things like that. So it may be something he planned, and he's had a bucket list of things to do. And him and his old man have had a good and bad relationship. He goes crook because his old man will drive right past and not call in to see the kids or anything like that, because like he's never visited in 8 years or 10 years he's been at Blackwater. He's never visited. Yet if he went past mum and dad's and didn't call in, what's he doing? What's going on? So anyway, a few weeks ago he come down and he blew shit out the old man, and then they left on better terms, and he sorted some stuff out, and he didn't drop in here, but we were talking to him a lot. A month or two before, he paid just him and his daughters, not with Belle. Belle was working, I believe. And yeah, he dropped in past us to see us, and went down and saw his sister. And yeah, he's been just doing bits and pieces, and I don't know, you look back and hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it looks like he was getting stuff ready. But the week before he shot himself, he actually tried gassing himself in his missus's car. And I said, how come the missus's car? Well, his is diesel, hers is petrol. So I spoke to him last week, a week before, whenever it was, and he was in the Rockhampton mental health unit. And he said in there, he signed himself in, or he come in by Ambo. He got in on the Thursday, and a psychiatrist spoke to him, and I was talking to him on the Monday, and he said, Uncle, he says, I saw a psychiatrist on the Thursday. He said, I haven't seen a soul, and it's Monday morning, and he says, as soon as I see him, I'm out of here, I'm going home. But yeah, they just chuck you in there and just make sure you got a feed, and he could sign himself out when he chose to, because he signed himself in, sort of thing, and after self-harm. And so I said, how do you get home? And he said, oh, they just give you a bus ticket. They put you out the front door with a bus ticket, and that'll get him back to Blackwater, a couple of hours away. And I said, oh, up that, Phil. I said, want me to come? And I said, I'll whiz up to Rocky. It's 3 hours up there and 2 hours out there, and have a cuppa and I can turn around and come home. And oh no, he says, I've got a few mates, and Kieran and Wally and another fella, they were all in Rocky knowing what was going on, and they were just waiting around for him, so they took him home. So that was a good thing. But he was supposed to go to work on the Friday, not this last Friday, the one before, but because of the mines and the safety things, well, they told him to have a bit of time off and sort his shit out. So yeah, a week later, he shot himself, and his missus had hidden the gun safe keys. In Australia, you got to have the gun here, in a safe. You're not allowed to store the ammunition with the gun, and I think you got to have the bolt separate too, or something like that, or not in the gun. So anyway, somewhere in one of his visits back home, he must have found all this shit and put it together. But yeah, he just walked straight downstairs and popped. Pardon me. Yeah, he must have had things organised, eh? But his missus was saying they had a lovely break. He just had a yarn, and just nothing out of the ordinary at all. Just tootled off and done it. So anyway, it sounds like drugs have got to him a little bit. But then when they when the police come, they ask people about is he on any medication and all that. So there was a cupboard there of his medication, and when they opened it up, they said, "Holy shit!" So, so who knows? But it turns out, and he told me he had counsellors and all that in Rocky and the doctor and that, and he had told me he was bullshitting to them about how much he was drinking and all that. So, um, we're all telling him, you, they're on your side. You got to tell these people the truth. But anyway, who knows what he's told them? Who knows if he was visiting a couple of doctors and getting a bit of this, bit of that. But he was on a cocktail of all sorts of prescription medication. He hadn't had a beer since January. He said early January, when his marriage went a bit west, because drinking hard and smoking hooch and all that was part of the problem. But and he hadn't had any since January, so he told us. So, but anyway, the coroners will let us know all about that. So yeah, over the next week or two, we got a shitty job coming up, and we'll go and celebrate all the bullshit we got up to together, and go from there. So yeah, a bit of a shit note to end the week, but we had a good time with the rest of the family, his cousins, and look, that was all right. We did have a good time. We didn't tell the ones getting engaged; they'll find out now. Or this week sometime. We didn't want to put a damper on it, so half a dozen of us knew, and we just kept it to ourselves until their engagement was over. Because the selfish prick shooting himself, he didn't have the right to wreck that on him. So anyway, hopefully we have a better week next week. I'll try and get some tractor work done, keep my mind off things, and we'll catch you next week, eh? See you.